So my mother's face was glowing with pride when she said to me that she could still have another child. I was like, what? Yes, he said, I still have not menopaused yet. I can still have another child. What? The doctor told me, my mother continued speaking, the ovaries are still functioning and it's all still working. If you can take out the stitching that has blocked the fallopian tubules, I can still have another baby. I was like, Mom, you're nearing menopause. Why do you want a kid now? And she said, it's not about having a kid. I'm just saying that I still can. I still have the ability. And she was beaming with this big smile on her face. Okay, I said, let's go talk about that with Dad. He'll do something about it. For years, this conversation had stayed with me. That was the moment when I first saw the pride with which she carried the ability that she had to become a mother. You see, mothers are undervalued teachers. They get a lot of credit at award ceremonies and weddings and book dedications. They get a lot of respect in public, but day to day, they do an extremely thankless job. You rush into the house late at night, rush out the next morning, come back home at 1 a.m. and be upset because there's no food for you. And they put up with all of it with a phenomenal amount of love. And more than just tolerate it, they even cook for you there and then. I am a prime example of a spoiled son. And yet, that day, years after giving up her whole life to take care of me and my siblings, she was feeling proud that she could have more of us. She was happy. She was happy when she was telling all of this to me. And I am her firstborn child. It kind of hit me that day, that once upon a time, I was not myself. I was a part of someone else. And what is more, I was the happiest, dearest, and most precious part of someone else. Because that one time, when her period stopped, and she was lithe and young and beautiful in her 20s, her belly started growing, little by little, month by month. I grew out of my guilt, I grew a nose, my snotty little self kicking around and wiggling its toes, developing a brain and then an ass, which was when I became a smart ass. And this cute little wiener, which all the pretty nurses in a room full of people would check out before they looked at any other part of me first and shout with joy that it's a boy. And for many years, I was very much a part of her. A living, breathing, kicking and yelling, attention-seeking part of her. I was the first egg that did not end up in a sanitary pad. I was the reason her body went through menstruation her whole life. I was why she felt complete. And that is such an amazing thing, to be such a validation for somebody. I just had to eat, sleep and be taken care of. So times flew past. I grew up along with my brain and my pride. I learned to read and not to cry. But from crying over not being fed at 1 in the morning at the age of 1, and from complaining at not having food at 1 in the morning at the age of 21 and 31, it still doesn't, seem that I've grown much with her. And nor has she. She is still that mother that will put every care aside for me. In every way that she can, she will be there for me. Even if she doesn't know how to, she will try because she's a mother and mothers don't let go. That was a one-way ticket that she took with her body, creating me. That was life. It just happens so much around us, it happens so often that it doesn't seem monumental, but it is. With a mother, with a couple, it takes two people to love each other. But with a mother, all it takes is her love to complete a family. It's divine, it's real, and it's also biology. This maternal instinct, this factory of emotions and hormones that can produce, with a little help from my dad, 3 verbose, sarcastic and healthy personalities, my brother and sister and me. Always ready for a fight, always ready to bite each other's heads off. And it doesn't matter how much we screw up, it doesn't matter how much we mess up, because we are alive and kicking. We are still gambolling in her belly. And that's why even now, all it takes is one big, wet, messy kiss on the cheek, and my mommy, will calm down and smile, even if she's threatening to throw me out of the house or disinherit me. All it takes is her calling us up on the phone and hearing our voices, talking, complaining, sometimes being needy, most of the time asking for money. And it's also easy because we are still her complaining kids that came home to her arms in preschool. We are still those kids that cried when we were given to someone else for the first time to hold, that cried when we wanted to be fed and could not be told to shut up, that cried when we were delivered bawling from her belly, that kicked around and tried to crawl in her bulging tummy. That buzz that showed up first on her flat, sexy stomach, turning girl into woman. How she felt that pulse there for the first time. She felt me. I was that first pause of anticipation when she realized that she had missed her period, and she considered the wonderful beginning of her dream that had at that moment began to turn into reality. A dream that she cherished when she told my father that I want a baby. A dream that she saw reflected in his eyes when she fell in love with him. A dream that she carried even before that in puberty when she first bled and she was told that you have the power, the ability to be a mother, to be a baby. Behold, it is a dream that she carried even before that when she played house as a child with little dolls and her mother's shawls, making a tent between two chairs in the hall. And because she had the power to turn this dream into reality, is what makes this dream greater than any superstition and taboo created by any religion based on the primitive reaction on the side of blood. These are dreams that are so powerful that they can change the course of history. These dreams are so beautiful that every drop of blood that she said is greater. It is purer than holy water, more bright than taboo. And because the basis of these dreams are so powerful and beautiful, Mother, and because forever you have loved me more than you've loved anybody, the thoughts and the body from which you've conceived and delivered me, Mother, are more beautiful and sacred than any place of sanctity, more beautiful than any shrine that any god could ever embody.